And we do the Wine and Wellness Weeks 5 weeks a year. The whole goal of our program is to get you healthy and then what? Keep you healthy. So if you need to meet with a healthcare professional, you have anything, crisis, healthcare conditions going on, we recommend you meet with somebody. And we usually do a 3-phase program. Phase 1 is cleansing. Phase 2 is targeted nutrition. And then phase 3 is going to be maintenance and wellness. So once you get healthy, all you need to do is come to the Wine and Wellness Weeks. We do these 5 times a year. And the whole idea of the Wellness Week is that you have a wellness experience, because when you do, the wellness experience is very positive. Look at this guy. Should have saw when he first came here what he looked like.
Yeah, worse, it's hard to believe.
Yeah, right? Unbelievable. So the whole idea of the Wellness Week is have a positive wellness experience, and you can do that by coming here, having healthy food, workshops. We do 35 workshops this week. In addition, we have special demos, including Dr. Mike, all the way up from Ormond Beach, Florida, who is doing the Mighty Mini. It's still available today. We have those for sale for the first time ever to the public. We also have healthcare professionals to answer any of your questions. We have samples, demos, and if you want to buy anything, everything's on deep discount. So pretty good deal, right? So the only thing you guys need to do is what? Show up and hopefully drag somebody with you, right? Because the great thing about wellness is it applies to everybody. Young, old, rich, poor, black, white, male, female, it doesn't matter. Everyone has a body, so everyone needs to come here for the wellness events. We also do wellness events at some other locations, so if you see us, Doc's okay with it, so it's not a big deal. So you may see us at some other natural healthcare professionals. If you go to somebody else also and you want them to have an event or a workshop, ask them and they can contact us and we can do that for them. So what I want to do is really go through this, what I call the state of the U.S. healthcare, right? The state of the union's address. But more importantly, where are we as a country for health? And then what can we do? The nice thing is that Dr. Weiner and I started Nutritional Frontiers, so we can give you much better formulations. And the whole goal of our formulas are you'll get better results due to better compliance and the best value. So we normally put 2, 3, 4 formulas together so that you can buy less formulas and get a better result. The great thing is that we're breaking through nutritional boundaries, and here's how we do it. Quality, integrity, research, and service. By quality, every single formula is made in a certified lab. What does that mean for you? It means they're guaranteed for purity and potency. That's it. Still means, you know, if you make it in a certified lab, you can still use inferior goods or put small amounts of things in there, but we don't. So everything is guaranteed 100% for purity and potency with money-back guarantee. The difference is that with our research is that we are combining the right amounts of ingredients, the right types of ingredients, and then giving you guys delivery options. Anyone here ever do a chewable? Yeah. Powders, liquids, veggie caps, sprays, soft gels. Very rarely, only when we have to, will we do a tablet. Tablet may be because we're trying to protect something that has to absorb lower. So we only use tablets when we have to. We don't use them as a first line. And then our service, we take a tremendous amount of pride in our relationship with you guys. So we do these events. You know, we're here for 7 days this week. We're doing the workshops and all the service that you guys need. And we give you all the literature you need. So we take a lot of pride in that. If you like what we're doing, tell somebody else. And if you don't like what we're doing, tell me. Okay? I don't like them, but I do take the complaints. And you may have a request, like how come you don't do this topic one time? So if you're interested in a certain topic, demonstration, let me know. We'll put that on the next schedule. Because we want these to be as valuable as possible for you so you guys feel like you're getting what you need. And there may be areas of education that, for whatever reason, is slipping through the cracks. Let us know on that. So when you look at the state of the U.S. healthcare, that's actually given the stats from the NIH, National Institute of Health, and then the WHO is not the WHO, it's what? The World Health Organization, right? So when you look at it, where does the U.S. rank in the world? And most important, what can you do about it? So you've heard these stats before if you've been coming to the wellness events, or you've been listening on the radio, right? The U.S. is 300 million people. It sounds like a lot, right? Until you start looking at the world's population is 6 billion. China has 1 billion by itself, and I think India is close to that. So the world's population is 6 billion, so 300 million is only 5%. Okay? So 5% of the world's population is consuming 70% of the world's medications, and we spend more money on healthcare per person than any country in the world. The only country that you can actually advertise medications directly to the consumers. You guys know that? Yeah. So what that has resulted in is about 33% of all medications, 1 out of every 3 prescriptions that are filled, are because the person asked the doctor. Like, hey, Dr. Tim, do you have any Ambien for sleep? Oh, sure, you're not sleeping? Shh, boom. So I'm okay with medications when they're appropriate. What's happened is the medication and surgery has been pushed to the front in lieu of natural therapies, diet, exercise, stress reduction, meditation, yoga, Pilates, all these different things you can do to help as a first line of defense that you can leave the medication and the surgery for later on. Because once you cut it out, it's too late. And what's interesting is that not only is the medication on the rise, but we found out that people that take at least one medication in the country is about 50%. So half the people here take at least one med. 2 or more meds is over 30%. And the polypharmacy, you know, when you take 2 or more drugs, once you start taking 2 or more medications, the risk of side effects is 100%. And have you ever looked at any research where they've used more than one medication in the study? No, it doesn't exist. So even Dr. Mike wrote a book way back when on the dangers of prescription medications. You know, he looked at it as the U.S. cartel. So 5 or more medications, wow, almost 11% of people are taking 5 or more meds. So what are some of the side effects we expect them to have? Fatigue, pain, constipation, diarrhea, insomnia, skin rashes, liver function, weight gain, weight loss, all these different things. The biggest one, I think, is fatigue. Now, if we start looking at, oh yeah, people take medications, but the kids don't. Yes, they do. So 1 out of 5 kids and 9 out of 10 older Americans use at least one prescription medication. So younger ones, you know, below 11, over 22% take one. And the teen years, 30%. And then you get to 20 to 59, right? And then the numbers start going up and up and up and up to the point that if you're 60, you're probably on at least one med. And 76% are using 2 or more, so you guys get the idea, right? Prescriptions are on the rise, but I'm feeling that there's finally some kind of swing back because the pendulum has gone so far in one direction, it's actually turning back now. Because what do you do? Take 10 meds, 15 meds, 20 meds, 30? What's the answer, right? So what's happened is some people, take one. You know, you're on one blood pressure med, it doesn't work, what do? Give you another one. But they keep you on the first one. Then you're on 2. Then not unusual for people to be on 2 to 3, sometimes 4 blood pressure meds. So I'm all for it if it's going to help somebody. You just pass it back. So, you know, saying, are we sick or is it the food? We know there's a direct correlation of what you eat and how the body rebuilds and how the body functions. You guys realize that you're constantly building new cells, right? Dr. Warner uses the analogy to 3 little pigs, right? You can build that of brick, mud, or straw. So your food is the building blocks of your body and of all your cells. So if you're using, you know, anyone ever build a house or had a house built? Yes? Yeah. So if you use really cheap lumber and cheap bricks and cheap shingles and bad windows, what's going to happen? The house is not going to last very long, right? Same with your body. If you use really inferior ingredients to build it, it's not going to last very long and it's not going to work very well. They're saying now that the toxicity from the food is the number one culprit. This is from the cutting edge professional seminars and training that's going on in the country. We just had a group come back from New Orleans last week. So the number one culprit is the toxicity in the food. We look at diabetes on the rise. Heart disease doesn't sound so sexy anymore, but it's still the number one killer. Cancers are on the rise, but the big one that scares me the most is diabetes. They're all bad, but that one seems, because it takes so long for people to get it, and they may not even realize they have it. So here's where we rank in healthcare systems. Number 37. Can anybody name 36 countries? Can you? No, at least you're honest. They put their head down, so I know they don't know the answer. Open book test, you'd be able to get 100%, right? So 37 countries are in front of us when we look at healthcare systems. When we look at the health of the country, it's even worse. God forbid we're 15th in child mortality. Can't even have the childbirth rate. We're 15th in that one. I mean, Joan Rivers went in for, she's had more surgeries than anyone. She went in for a routine endoscopy, and what happened? They gave her too much anesthesia and it killed her. She went into cardiac arrest, and she was pretty much dead. So it's not unusual. Remember Dwight White on the Steelers, wanted a steel curtain, remember him? Number 78, what happened to him? Went in for routine back surgery, and a normal complication of the surgery is death. So he didn't wake up. Same thing, they think the medication killed him. So there's been numerous examples of this. Even though she was 81, she was still healthy. Dwight White was in great shape at 56, very healthy. So this happens quite a bit where, going in for a procedure. So nothing's minor anymore, and no medication is minor. So don't say the doctor told you to take this. Do your homework. All you got to do is go to, does everyone have a computer? If you don't have one, where can you go? Right, you can still go to the library, right? So you go to the library, you can look up on the computer any medication. You also go to the bookstore and buy the PDR, which is the physician's desk reference for medication. All the medications are listed in there with all their admitted side effects. So at least do your homework and figure out what meds do they want me to give me and what are the side effects on those medications. Because if you don't, then you're playing Russian roulette and you're relying on somebody else. So there's all the countries that go in front of us. Interesting enough, though, we did take first in the Olympics last year, right? Yeah. Priorities, right? This doesn't seem to be causing any kind of issues for people. I know healthcare is in the topic, it's in the news. They try to come out Obamacare and all these different things. But for the most part, I don't see anyone up in arms about this. So the biggest thing you got to look at is food for cleansing. Food should provide energy, nourishment, and should help your body cleanse. Realize this today. Anything your body makes, like you make a hormone, or you take, like you drink water or you eat food, anything you make or take, you have to detoxify every day in a healthy way. Detoxify just means processing that through the body, getting the good things in, getting all the waste products out. So the first thing we're going to look at is what types of food programs should you be on? Now we have these 10 and 30-day cleanses. Anyone done those before? Yeah, how'd you do? You don't know?
Don't know much good.
You did it from here? You tried it? Oh, not from here. Okay. Generally, if people do our program for 10 days, between 5 and 10 pound weight loss. Their energy levels are up. Their digestion's improved. You just got it? Okay. Great, even better. So the idea is not a weight loss, but when your body's getting toxic, it holds more weight, right? We know we're not in our best shape, right? The clothes aren't fitting as good. Our energy levels aren't as good. Maybe we have some more pain, maybe bloated, discomfort. So sometimes you need a 10 or 30-day program just to get you back on your program. I often do this for people because I want them to get clean so that now we really address what their issues are. Had a woman come in recently, she had problems with migraines, diarrhea, weight, and energy. So I know we need to do the Candida protocol, but before we do, let's do a 10-day cleanse. So 10 days later, I saw her. She says, oh, I lost 8 pounds, and her skin looks so much better. Her migraines were gone from food allergies, and her constipation and diarrhea was gone in 10 days. So the food is vital. Let food be thy medicine and medicine thy food, right? Isn't that what Hippocrates said? So we also have inflammation food programs. So you have chronic inflammation. You may have issues with candida, gluten-free. All of our diets are gluten-free anyway. So I'm hesitant sometimes to give somebody a gluten-free diet. Why? Because there's gluten-free cookies and gluten-free ice cream and gluten-free bread, and right? So they'll look at what a gluten-free is. That's not the only issue. That's just part of the story. So you should eat foods, whole foods, that are gluten-free to begin with. So the other thing, if you want to look at one variable to know, are you aging, and if so, how quickly, is look at your body composition, okay? How much muscle do you have versus fat? That is the number one way to look at how quickly you're aging, because part of aging is that you're going to lose muscle, called sarcopenia, loss of muscle. So you can tell just by looking at your waist size. You can get some body composition testing done, body fat testing, right? You can even get, you want to get really scientific, for $5, go buy a tape measure and measure your waist. Because as the waist goes up, hormonally the body's shifting from burning fat to storing fat. So when the metabolism shifts, you're at high risk for diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease, and all the symptoms that fall underneath that. And everything is listed right there. In addition, sometimes people come in, they have problems with their knees or their ankles. Somebody was here with an ankle problem. And he said, the doc told me to lose weight. I did, but I gained the weight back. My ankle hurts again. You know, if we all stood on this chair, it would probably break, right? So these knees are not designed to hold 300 pounds or 200 pounds or 250 pounds, depending on your size. So sometimes you need to lose some weight just to help with arthritis. So we know we can change the body comp. Unfortunately, I don't have any magic wands that I can wave for you, right? It comes down to the food you eat, your activity level. Do you move? Do you get the body to move at all? And supplements. We want to improve the metabolism. So, how long does it take to improve your metabolism? Any guesses? Come on, you look like such a smart group 5 minutes ago. You're fading fast on me. 21 days. The cameraman says 21 days. Good thing he's operating the camera, right? 21 days. Good answer. Anyone else? It could take one meal, and here's why. If this morning you skip breakfast, or maybe you had donuts, or what's the number one breakfast choice in the U.S.? Cereal, right? Donuts, Pop-Tarts, toast, bagels, even juice and fruit. So all those things are what? Sugar, right? So if you eat sugar first thing in the day, your blood sugar goes really high. And then what does your body produce to bring the sugar down? Insulin, okay? And if sugar is real high, insulin's going to be high. When insulin's high and sugar's high, they can't get all that sugar inside the cell, so what does half of it go to? Yeah, fat. Even the look she gives is like, oh, it gets converted to fat, right? It gets converted to fat, right? So the only time, write this down and remember this, the only time you store fat is when you have high sugar and high insulin, right?
So if you're eating a lot of sugar, essentially, you're going to have a high insulin.
And you're going to store fat.
Because, what I was thinking of is in the they have candy laying around.
Yes, I know that, yeah. What about it?
Well, I'm just saying that that's a bad habit.
Yeah, a lot of bad habits. But, a little bit of dark chocolate, a little bit of chocolate now and then is not a bad thing. If your blood sugar is under control, you're not going to eat as much of it, okay? So you start out with that day, or even worse, you don't eat anything. What happens if you don't eat anything? Where's your body get the sugar from? Muscle, right? So you work so hard to build the muscle up, you skip a meal, and your body starts breaking down the muscle. It's called gluconeogenesis. You break down muscle for energy, for sugar, because our brain works on glucose. So now it's even worse because you didn't even eat anything. And now you're going high blood sugar. And then what happens after you start storing that as fat? What happens to your sugar? Drops. And it's such a drastic drop, it may not even get to low. It may just be such a switch from so high to high. How do you feel? Terrible, right? Crabby, moody, tired. And what are you craving? Stimulants, right? So sugar's a stimulant, caffeine's a stimulant, and nicotine's a stimulant. So you do that a couple times during the day, and then 3, 4 o'clock like this time, how do you feel? And then later on at night, you get a second surge, and you're wide awake, and you don't know why. So the most important meal to me every day is breakfast. So you can do things like oatmeal. You can do things like organic eggs, veggie omelet, like I like spinach and mushrooms. Or you can do a shake. Has anyone tried the super shake or best way? Yeah. So do the shake for breakfast because it's a lot less expensive than going out to eat or making food. It's much quicker and we know what's in there. So we got to control blood sugar. That's how this works. If you control blood sugar, none of these chronic diseases will pop up. So you need to control blood sugar.
At what point does your body start to burn the fat?
When blood sugar is under control. Okay? You have a shake for breakfast, your blood sugar goes up a little bit. You have oatmeal for breakfast, it goes up a little bit. You have organic eggs, it goes up a little bit. And when the sugar is under control and it's low or moderate, insulin's low or moderate, now rather than storing the fat, you're going to burn it. When you eat good, how do you feel? You feel great. When you work out, you feel great. You have a lot of energy. You're not hungry. You got to make sure you do eat. So the idea of burning the fat is just, we can do that in one meal. So yeah, for some people it may take 21 days like he mentioned. But if you understand how the body works and you have the right food for breakfast, you're there. You're halfway there at least. Now, they did studies on this. What they did is they divided a group into two. This was teenage boys. Pediatrics, 1999. So I've been doing this a while, right? So what they found in the study is that they gave one half of the group a high sugar meal like Captain Crunch, and the other half of the group a low glycemic, a low sugar meal. The rest of the day, unrestricted, they can eat whatever they want. And what did they find? The group that ate the high sugar cereal ate 81% more calories, almost double the amount of food. Not only that, they went for the high calorie snacks, junk food, where the other group didn't. And that's unrestricted. So the body, and if you're eating a lot of sugar and you're craving it, that's why. It's not your fault. Even the commercial says what? You can't eat just one. Why? Because there's no nutrients in there. Glycemic index, you know what that is? Ever hear glycemic index? What does that mean?
How much sugar is in there compared to nutrition?
It's close, right? It's a number assigned to how quickly your body will convert that to sugar. Now, glycemic load is how much sugar, right? Because watermelon, people say, or carrots has a high glycemic index, but the load is real low. So watch that because it can be a little confusing. When in doubt, go with the whole foods. All right? So back to the point with the glycemic index and the glycemic load. The highest food on that glycemic index chart is what? Potato chips. Okay? Of 133. So that converts to sugar very quickly in the body. Blood sugar goes up. You feel good, almost feel good, and then you start coming down. It's like, where's those chips again, right? So go after the whole foods. Then if you want to eat something later on, you could. But always whole foods first. So the diet we recommend is whole foods, like the foods I was just mentioning, right? Fish, vegetables, some fruit. Don't go crazy with the fruit. You can eat some. nuts, seeds, beans. You can use oatmeal, rice, baked potatoes, yams, sweet potatoes. Maybe if you eat meat, you can do some chicken, maybe organic chicken, maybe some grass-fed beef. And it's called an anti-inflammatory diet, low-carb diet, paleo diet. It has all different types of names, but there's all the types of foods you guys want to eat. If you do that, and you start putting together a couple good meals and a few good days, you're not going to want to eat the other foods, especially breakfast. Exercise. Everyone puts their head down on this one. Yawning, she's holding her throat. Yeah, exercise is not punishment. Our bodies are made to physically move. And what's happened over time with our society is that we've gone from the city where people would walk a lot to suburbs where you can't even let the kids walk because you're worried about their safety. So the idea is your body should move. How much exercise do you need a week? 5 times a day. Man, about a half hour a day would be great. So if you did at least, you could do an hour, but at least 30 minutes every day. So it's about 3.5 hours a week. You don't got to do 7 days, but you can't do one day. So 3, 4, 5 days a week would be great. Plus, the other days, it's okay to be active, right? You shouldn't just neglect it because it's my day off. You want to move around. If you like to do yard work, you like to walk, shop, whatever you're doing, keep the body moving. Bike ride, swimming, whatever it may be, but keep the body moving. You need to move, okay? Some examples of fitness, you should do some aerobics, some anaerobics, and some stretching. Aerobics is meaning you're using oxygen as a primary fuel source. So it's lower intensity, longer duration, such as what? Walking, biking, jogging. Okay? Anaerobic is higher intensity, shorter duration, usually strength training with weights or machines, maybe sprint work, something like that. So depending on where you are at your level, you can work with these programs. And if you're not sure, let me know. We can get you with a trainer. You know, when I was doing personal training in Pittsburgh, it was about 20 years ago, 1994. It seems like yesterday. But it was unheard of to have a trainer. Now you can get a trainer at any gym. And they're so affordable. They're probably charging what I used to charge or a little bit less sometimes, depending on where you go get a trainer or if they're going to come to your house or not. So we need to do a complete exercise program. And it could be something as simple as walking, a little bit of lifting a couple days, and some stretching. But you got to incorporate all 3 components of exercise. And any one of these are fine. Supplements, you know, the best things are the food-based supplementation. Why would you need to do a powdered food? Because I just mentioned all the breakfast choices are all terrible. Plus food, God, I've been doing a lot of shopping lately. It's very expensive. And not just the good food, the bad food too. But I find is when you buy the good food, you generally buy too much of it and you tend to throw some away. So you need to shop for meals, not just shop. So if there's 3 people in the house, that's 3 yams, not a whole bag. Right? So buy what you need for a couple days and do your shopping 2, 3 times a week. It takes more time, but you'll get much better food. And the reason we do these supplements like this is because these are food-based supplements. Anyone go out to eat breakfast? Where do you go? Diner? How much is it? $20 for 2? Yeah, so $10 a piece at a probably very inexpensive place, right? I'm on the road a lot. Sometimes it costs more depending on where you are. Wow, that's a lot of money. The Super Shake with the discount and the whey protein with the discount costs you about $40.
What's the difference between the Super Shake and the Best Way?
What's the difference between the Super Shake and the Best Way?
One doesn't have dairy.
Right. The Best Way is dairy. Even though it comes from New Zealand organic cattle, it's still from a cow. The Super Shake is vegan. No animal products at all. Okay?
What's the pro colors?
That's your greens, reds, oranges, and purples. It's in the machine over there. Those are fruit and veggie based powders. Again, you ever juice? Anyone ever trying juice? Why not? A pain in the neck. Look, I know she's done it, right?
Potters.
Yeah,
we do the powder.
right.
Easier.
Because when you juice, you got to make sure you buy the food. You got to have the machine. You got to get the food in the machine. You got to clean the machine, and then you got to hope it tastes good,
20 pieces of fruit,
right?
you get this much.
Yeah. And then 2 hours later, it's like I'm starving. I got to get some real food, right?
Now, if you're gonna juice, you should not juice, but just combine it all in a blender. Right.
Yeah. It still takes time to buy the food, and it takes money, and it takes time to make it and time to clean it. And what we found is that the Pro Colors, your cost is about 1/5 of what you would normally pay for the food. Plus, there's things in there you can't get at the grocery store, such as what? Probiotics, prebiotics, spirulina, chlorella, herbs. They're all in all the Pro Colors. So you can do, everyone tried those? They're up here in the machine? Yeah.
Should you try to get all the colors or what?
I basically say to pick one. So let's go through them, right? If you don't eat any fruits and veggies, you do the reds. Oh, here she goes. Vanna White. So this is the Pro Colors Variety Pack. This has them all in there in packets. So you have 8, 8, 7, and 7, okay? So the reds is all your fruits and veggie powder. If you're not eating fruits and veggies, that's the one you do. If you don't get enough greens in, you want to help with digestion and cleansing and skin and things like that, do the lean greens. If you want mental energy, physical energy, blood sugar, and weight, you do the oranges. And the purple is all the exotic berries for aging. So things skin, brain, eyes, heart. So depending on which one you are, pick one. And then could you use more than one? Yeah, look how great she looks. She's using all.
4 at once.
So how many calories are in this?
Under 40.
Yeah, they're low.
Yeah. There's no sugar, maybe 1 gram of sugar from the fruit powders. So they're very healthy, very nutritious, and very easy to use, right? And very affordable.
You do it with milk.
Yeah, so you can get these at the Wellness Weeks for about $30. Cost you about $1 a serving. I was buying peaches 2 weeks ago. They cost $1 each. I was shocked when I was checking out.
I can't believe
Yeah.
apples are that high.
Yeah. Yeah, it came out to $1 a piece. They were $5 for 5 of them. So I bought one for everyone, then I ate 2 or 3 of them. So then we got the essential fats. You need good fats in your diet. Where do you get good fats in your diet? Where do you get good fats in your diet? Avocados. Coconut. Fish. Fish oil. Flaxseed oil. Safflower oil, right? Nuts, seeds. So there's a lot of ways you can get good oils during the day, but you don't really see these foods a lot. They tend to be on the outskirts, right? You know, generally when you go somewhere, it's going to be all the carbs that people are going to throw at you. So there's some good fats you can use. So those first 3 things are all whole food, oils, powders, and fruits and veggies. So I always start with whole foods first. Why would we do this instead of food? It's more convenient, more economical. It makes it so easy. Plus, you know what's in there. It takes all the guesswork out of it. You know, they finally admitted now that not everything that's in the food is on the label. We kind of thought that already, but they've admitted that now, and they can do it if the amounts are very low. So you got to really watch. Any package or processed food is going to have a lot of chemicals in it. Yeah. And things that we don't want to be exposed to. So if you can't read the ingredients on the label, probably don't want the product. And the sugar solves for diabetes, totally in the baritone for weight, and you have issues with mood, cravings, stress, sleep. Sleep Time is one of my favorite products we came out with this year. It really helps a lot for me. It works for you too? How many use it tonight?
I just take one.
One?
My husband takes one.
Yeah,
A calm day and sleep time.
great. And it helps you fall asleep and stay asleep? Yeah, that's been the best thing for me. I use 3, but it works so well at night. I mean, you take those maybe a half hour, an hour before bed, and you really start to get drowsy, and then you fall asleep, and then you stay asleep. Yeah. So,
What's the berry tone?
berry tones for weight. That's got green coffee, green tea, African mango, and raspberry ketones.
And the tonalines for weight?
Yeah. Tonally is really interesting. It's conjugated linoleic acid. It's a good fat. CLA is the name, right? Conjugated linoleic acid. And the nice thing with the tonalline is that when you look at a lot of people that have difficulty losing weight or maintaining weight, they don't get their cells opened up enough to get nutrients in, right? Why is that? Poor diet, lack of activity. So there's 3 things that open up those cells real well to get stuff in to get burned. Insulin, exercise, and tonalline. So that works real well, especially on the belly fat. I do that every couple months. I'll do it for 2 months and then take 2 or 3 months off. Now you need to take 3 to 6 a day of it to really work well. For me and you, 3 twice a day. For the ladies, probably 3 a day.
By the way, on all this stuff, I know it's better to take it twice a day. But if you can't or won't take it twice a day, is it almost as good to take it?
You ask questions like my son does. If I don't come home by
being honest.
2 o'clock, what's going to happen? I said, nothing, I'm going to bed. You do what you're going to do. Would it work better if you did it twice a day? Yeah, not everything. Vitamin D you don't got to take even every day. You can take every other day. Fish oil you don't got to take twice a day. Tonalline you should take twice a day, but not everything.
Well, the ones that say take it twice a day, if you're going to just take it once a day, better to take the full amount one time.
Yes. Yeah.
Guess that was the question.
So let's go through a couple of the case studies here, and we're going to wrap things up for you. So this is a person that had parasites. Some of the symptoms are going to be constipation, diarrhea, gas, bloating, low red blood cell count. So you may be told you have anemia, right? You need iron, but it may be parasites. Swollen legs. You get your legs to swell up. Question? You may have skin blotches, weight loss, low energy, things like that. So here's a woman that came into the clinic last year. Yeah, doc saw her and he was like, right away, he said, I think you have parasites. She said, I've been to my doctor for this, that, and the other thing, and he don't know what it is. So the 3 things that your typical medical doctor is not going to be aware of that we're going to look for here is going to be parasites, yeast, and low thyroid. Dr. Mike tested probably 50 people today, and he said everyone has a thyroid issue. Everyone does. That's the issue I had when I gained so much weight. So if the thyroid is not working well, you can gain a lot of weight. You can have issues with nails, hair, skin, energy, things like that. But she had these blotches all over her. That's her. And then 2 weeks later, just on the power cleanse, there's her legs. 2 weeks. He didn't charge her for an office visit, just sold her the product, and that was it. There she is. She pulled her pants up a little higher. They see the legs. So yeah, so if you have a friend or you or a family member or someone you know has a condition that they're not getting any results, they need to try something different. That's where we get frustrated. People will come here, I've been going to the dermatologist for 7 years. I'll give you 1 visit. Well, I said, you've been going there for 7 years, but he's not helping you. I had a woman's kid that had really bad psoriasis. He's been getting 1 allergy shot a week for 5 years. So just some simple math. How many shots is that in 5 years? 1,000. It's 1,000 shots. I says, how many shots do you have to give you before the allergies are gone? She says, what do you mean? I says, he has had 1,000 shots. She says, well, he gets it every week. I said, no, for 5 years, that's 1,000. I'm sorry, it's 50 a year. It's 250 shots. You get the point though, right? So what I told her is that you got to try something different. So she tried our program. The kid's done very well on it. Yeah, they got to change your diet and you got to do some products and do some different things. Sure. But maybe that's what's causing the problem. If you don't address the underlying cause, it's never going to go away. So we know arthritis and joint health is a big thing. I think what happens is a couple things. One is we're living to be older, right? Our joints are going through degeneration where they're breaking down. That's part of this whole story. And the other part is women are very smart. They'll go to the doc for anything. Where men are very stubborn, right? All the women say yes, yes, yes. Yeah. They are. Not us, but all the other guys.
Not the ones in here.
Yeah, not the ones in front of me. Yeah. So my point is that when a man's ego, right, their strength, their independence is affected, or when do we see the sharpest increase in male doctor's office visits? When Viagra came out. It's true, right? So either that or they lose their dignity, like they can't lift, they can't do their work, they can't work in the yard, they can't fix their car because their joints hurt so bad. Now they're open to doing something, right? Their skin can be bad, they can have headaches, they won't sleep, they've gained weight, they don't care. But when they can't move and they can't lift, now they're willing to do something. So a lot of causes here. You know, you look at all the different things people do, such as antacids, that affects the ability to absorb nutrients. All the different drinks people do, especially the sodas, all affect the absorption of minerals and nutrients, make the body more acidic, and if you had any type of trauma. So natural treatments to improve the diet, you can use some enzymes, you can use some anti-inflammatories, HA+, Super Cal+, and anyone use HA+? You guys still use it? And how well does it work for you?
Great stuff. It's number one for a reason.
Yeah.
It's our number one seller 10 years in a row. Yeah. So that product was grandfathered in before Nutritional Frontiers even started. If you guys remember, it was in a black and gold label years ago. So now we have that in our label, so we're able to distribute it. But that is great for rebuilding the joint and lubricating the joint. So we have these wellness solutions. You guys looked at these at all? So the idea is this will tell you about the whole program in one little Cliff Note version, right? Because he used to do Cliff Notes in school, right? Have Cliff Notes? No? You just didn't even use Cliff Notes. So Cliff Notes are the simplified version of the full presentation. So this tells you about the problem, some of the symptoms you may have. Then here's a 1, 2, 3 protocol. Here's the diet. It's all in one easy-to-use brochure. Then we have exercise on the back, stress and sleep, and then which products and how to take them, and then any other notes you want to make. So these are all available in the Wellness Center. You can help yourself. So we have about 25 different ones of these based on the category. So if you use NSAIDs, what are NSAIDs? Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. These are examples of Tylenol, Advil, ibuprofen, naproxen, right, which is Aleve. So these were designed for acute relief of pain. Acute means 24 to 48 hours. After 48 hours, what happens? You start breaking down your stomach lining. Then you can have kidney, liver, and you double your risk of heart attacks. Okay? So you say, oh, it's not a problem, it's not going to affect me. Well, it kills as many people a year as AIDS does. So you start realizing that this is a big problem. So this last case study we'll do, 62-year-old female, she fell down the stairs, she had swelling. She was using RICE, which is rest, ice, compression, elevation, and crutches in the soft cast. She actually came to the Wellness Week, and Mike Gallagher, who's back there in a blue shirt, he'll be here for the next 84 hours this week, standing right there. So if you have any questions, Mike can answer them for you. But very knowledgeable. And Mike recommended Cybezyme without food to reduce the inflammation. We also have Betazyme, we have Vegizyme, we have different ones. Cybezyme will be back this year at the next Wellness Week. And he doubled her dose up to HA plus to 4 per day. So 2 weeks she felt better, swelling went down, and the bruising was reduced. Finished the Cybezyme, continued on HA plus. She improved every day within 2 weeks and can walk faster without any discomfort, and the pain's gone. Now you may say, well, she probably get better anyway. Not for a severe ankle sprain in 2 weeks. I mean, these elite athletes that play in the Steelers takes sometimes 6 or 8 weeks for an ankle sprain. You ever sprain your ankle bad? The doctor tells you what? You're better off breaking it. Because when the ligaments and tendons are damaged that much, you have tremendous pain, swelling, and damage, and even worse, yeah. So one of the ingredients in the X-Flame has a double-blind placebo-controlled study, creselazine. So this, in the study that was published, 100% of ankle and foot pain reduced, 80% of the extremities, and 71% of knee pain. So that's only one ingredient in the X-Flame. Based on the research, we brought this out in the old pain release clinic and tried out on 280 people. And out of 288 people, over 80% of people did really well. So what do? We took it and not only put it in our X-Flame, but we added other ingredients to it. So I'm going to stop right there just for time. Any questions on what we went over at all? Yes.
Jamie, when I had the spiral fracture, broken, fib tip, shin bone crack at the front of my leg, I said no surgery, reset it, x-rayed it, reset me, cast me up to here, 3 months to my knee, cut it off, done. He said, we're going to have to break that because you're in menopause. I said, I'll take my chances, no surgery.
Oh, thank God, huh? That's fantastic.
And I have severe osteoporosis, but I didn't. Wow.
Yeah, and you can speed up the healing rapidly, and there's different modalities you can do. Diet, nutrition, magnets, different things like that. You know, good.
So is HA good for building calcium, building your bones?
It's really for the connective tissue, but at the end of the bone is cartilage. So the end of the bone, you should have cartilage on it. Over time, that gets wear and tear to the point where it gets worn out. You still have some there, but as you build that back up, it can take more of the pressure. So it will help the bones, not specifically for bone growth, but for the cartilage on the end of the bone. So we recommend it for any type of injuries, accidents, trauma like that. And some people even use it for osteoporosis or osteopenia. Yeah. And yesterday was 3 weeks I fractured my wrist. Very embarrassing when you fall. So anyway, fractured my wrist. I knew right away, went to the doctor, drove myself, put the ice pack on, knew what it was. So slept in the emergency room for a few hours until they come and get me. X-rayed it, and they says, it's a sarcoid bone. It's right here, it's the end of the radius. So it's a little bone that kind of just cracks, and people say it's over 60% of all wrist fractures. And I was talking to somebody about that, and I says, oh, that's so weird. Why would the body do that? I says, well, maybe it was put in there so you didn't break the radius, right? You have this little switch that just snaps, and instead of the big bone breaking. But I had a regular cast on, and went right with the SuperCal Plus, the X-Flame, HA Plus, and whatever else I had in the house. And I went last Friday. I took the cast off, as you can tell. They gave me a brace to wear. And I only wear it a little bit now because it feels so good. I got to go back next week, but it's only 3 weeks. They said it'd be about 6 to 8 weeks, but yeah. And that was the thing, was using my hand to get some strength going. I was doing this the night I got it, or the next day. So rehab starts right away. You got to use nutrients, you got to use water, elevation, ice, all those things. But you can heal more rapidly from anything if you give the body the right building blocks. All right, folks, you were great. We're going to be here till 5 o'clock today, and then Monday at 8 a.m. through next Saturday. So if you have any question you want to ask 101, I'll be here till 5. And thanks so much for coming.